Dear students, in this class we are going to study the forces that brings about changes on Earth's surface. In the last class, we studied about the plate movements or the tectonic movements of the plate. We studied about convergent margins, divergent margins and transform margins. There are other forces that bring about changes on the Earth's surface. See the flow chart here. The earth movement is divided into two: endogenic movement and exogenic movement. Endogenic movement is again divided into diastrophic movement and sudden movement. Example for the endogenic movement is plate movements that we studied, that is lithospheric plate movements. Exogenic movements are the movements that can be seen on the upper part. Endogenic movement is silent movement that can be seen in the interior of the earth, in the interior layer of the earth. In endogenic movement, the sudden movements called volcanic eruption and earthquakes. These are the earth movement, and due to these earth movement, most of the landform on the earth's surface are the result of this earth movement, this endogenic and exogenic movement. One is visible and one is not visible, but the earth's surface is moving. And different types of landforms are formed on the earth's surface due to this earth movement. As a result of earth movement, some regions on the earth crust, that is on the earth outer part, first layer of the earth crust, are either raised up and lowered, either raised up or lowered. And we call this raising up of the land and lowering up of the land by mentioning two words, that is, raising of the crustal portions are called uplift, that is the uplift of the land is uplifting there, and due to the earth movement the land is uplifting, that is raising of the crust part, crust layer. Rising of the crust layer is known as uplift, and the lowering of the crust are called subsidence. Lowering of the crust is known as subsidence. In the last class we already studied that during convergent mergings, the denser plates, what happened to the denser plates due to convergent merging? It will submerge under another plate. That is, if there is any difference in density between the plate along the convergent margin, the denser plate will be submerged under the lighter one. This is happening. This is known as uplifting and subsiding. Okay, the next one we are going to study our next main topic, earthquakes, that is the sudden movement, sudden endogenic movement. Earthquakes, we all know that what is earthquake. See the picture here, we can see most destructive one. The buildings are collapsed and many lost their life due to the earthquakes. So what do you mean by earthquakes? Why the earthquakes are happening? How the earthquakes are happening? What is an earthquake? That is, rock in the deeper part of the earth undergo displacement and fault due to the plate movements. We already studied in the plate margins about the plate movement and the displacement of the lithospheric plate. Here the rock inside the earth, deep in the deeper part of the earth, undergo displacement due to the lithospheric plate movements and causes the fault zone. Under such situation, what happened? Severe pressure is exerted on the earth lithosphere and seismic waves are generated. A pressure from the inside where the rock is displaced. From there, a pressure, high pressure developed inside the earth, and this will create a tremor on the earth lithospheric plate, and it is coming as a seismic wave. A seismic wave is generated here. These waves create tremor on the earth's surface. These tremors are experienced by us the earthquakes, and this is known as earthquakes. Earth will shake due to the pressure exerted from the interior part of the earth due to the plate movement or the displacement of the rock inside the interior part of the earth, and this is known as earthquakes. And the next one, the reason for earthquakes. What is the reason for the earthquakes? Other reasons for the earthquakes: collapse of roof of mining centers. We know that mining, coal, petroleum products, all these are mining from the interior part of the earth. It will be dangerous when we move to the interior portion of the earth. When the depth of the mining centers increases, it will create a weakness for the crust part, and the mining roofs will collapse, and it also created a tremor on the earth's surface, and that is the another reason for the formation of the earthquakes. And the second other reason for the earthquakes are pressure in reservoir. What do you mean by reservoir? It is dam. We are constructing dams for producing the electricity and for producing the irrigation facilities for farming, but it have negative effect on the earth surface, because we are stopping in the natural flow of river by constructing a big wall across the river, and it created a pressure on the earth's surface because the water is storing there. The natural flow of water is stopped and it is storing there by constructing a big wall, and it creates a big pressure on that area, and it will create an earthquake. It is an earthquake prone area where the reservoir can be seen. The next one is the volcanic eruption. We know that what is volcanic eruption. The lava from the asthenosphere, magma from the asthenosphere come out through the fault zones, through the cracks formed during the lithospheric plate movements. The magma from the interior of the earth burst out with high pressure, and this also created earthquakes on the earth's surface. So these are the other reasons for earthquakes. The next one is focus and epicenter. See the picture. Here we can see the fault zone. We already studied how the fault zones are produced during the convergent margins or the transfer margins. Fault zones are produced, and due to these plate movements, the rock inside the earth, inside the crust part, undergoes displacement, and here is the region where the rocks undergo displacement, and this is the point inside the earth where the earthquakes occur, are known as focus. Focus is the point where the earthquakes occur. And the point vertically above the focus on the earth's surface is known as epicenter. Here the tremors are striking. The pressure from the interior earth is striking in this region and this is known as epicenter. This is the epicenter. From the focus to epicenter, the tremor waves or the seismic waves will reach. Okay, then we can say that the deep point inside the earth where the earthquakes occur are known as focus, and the point vertically above it on the earth's surface is known as epicenter. The next one, the types of waves are produced from the focus. There are different types of waves, not different types, 3 types of waves are produced from the focus during an earthquake. The first one is primary wave, second one secondary wave, and the surface wave. And the surface waves are the most destructive waves because it will reach the epicenter. It will strike the epicenter, and what all things are on the surface of the earth, it will demolish everything, it will destruct everything. All the buildings will collapse due to these surface waves, and because of this it is very destructive waves. It is called as a destructive waves. And for the human to know the earthquakes, there are instruments used to measure or to record the seismic waves. That is, the seismic waves are recorded by an instrument called seismograph. Seismograph is an instrument that is used to measure or record the seismic waves. The next one is the Richard scale measures the intensity, the strength or the intensity of energy released at the time of the earthquakes. The force of the earthquakes, the intensity of the earthquakes, it is measured by an instrument called Richard scale. So seismograph is an instrument used to record the seismic waves, and Richard scale is an instrument used to measure the intensity of energy released at the time of the earthquakes. So what all things we studied today? We studied about the earth movement. Earth movements are divided into endogenic movement and exogenic movement. Endogenic movement are the movement that created in the interior part of the earth. It is divided into 2: diastrophic movement, that is the plate movement, lithospheric plate movement, and the sudden movement, that is volcanic eruption and the earthquakes. And we studied about what is earthquake and other reason for the earthquakes. What is earthquake and the reason for the earthquakes. And we also study what is focus and the epicenter. Then we studied about different types of waves produced during the earthquakes and the instrument used to measure the seismic waves and the intensity of earthquakes. Okay, that's all for today's class. Okay, thank you.